My brother tried to take his own life, and I changed it. Not by being there, not by saying the right thing, not by getting him into therapy or calling the right people. I changed it by changing what I saw when I closed my eyes and I thought about him. And within 10 days, he called my father and said that he hadn't felt the urge to drink in days, and said that he had job offers and was spending more time with his daughter, which is exactly what I wanted for his life. And I'm going to show you exactly what I did. But first, I need to tell you something that is going to sound insane. What you call the past is not fixed. And once you understand why, everything changes. Most people come to manifestation looking for one thing. They want to attract something new, a relationship, money, a different life. And Neville Goddard gives you the tools to do just that. And I use those exact tools in my first week of learning the law to get 2 desires in 6 days manifested. And if you see my recent videos, then you're well aware of my story. But what nobody tells you, what I didn't understand until much later, is that Neville's most powerful technique is not about the future at all. It's about the past, and he called it revision. And here's the thing that most people teaching this get completely wrong. Revision is not a technique for changing what happened. It is a technique for changing what is happening right now in every area of your life. Because the past is not behind you. It is inside you, and it is running the show. So here's what I want you to understand. Every single technique Neville ever taught, SATs, the wish fulfilled, living in the end, mental diet, all of it is technically revision. Every single one. And when you enter SATs and you feel yourself already having what you want, you are revising the emotional reality of the present moment. And when you do the mental diet and refuse to see someone as they are, you are revising your inner image of them. And when you plant a seed and fall asleep in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you are revising the story your subconscious is telling about who you are. Revision is not one technique inside of Neville's system. Revision is the system. And once you see that, you stop asking which technique to use because you realize the question was never about the technique. The question was always, what inner image am I sustaining? And is it the one that creates what I want or the one that creates what I have? And as Neville says, the very first act of correction or cure is always revise. Now, I want to bring in Seth because Seth explains something that Neville assumed you would simply believe. He explains why revision works at the level of physics specifically. Seth says time is not linear. Past, present, and future exist simultaneously. The present moment is not the product of the past. The present moment is where you select which version of reality becomes your experience. And he called it the point of power. In his words, he said, the present is the point of power, not the past, not the future, now. And then Seth says something that should stop you cold. He says, your present beliefs right now do not just shape your future. They reach backward and restructure your past on a neurological level. The cellular memories change. The story you tell about what happened changes. And when the story changes, the effect of the past on your present life also changes. And this is not a metaphor. This is why revision produces real world results. Remember, guys, you are not pretending the past was different. You are changing what the past is doing to you right now in this moment. And that is an entirely different thing. And as Seth says, a new belief in the present can cause changes in the past on a neuronal level. You must understand that basically time is simultaneously. Present beliefs can indeed alter the past. So let me show you exactly what Neville prescribes. He says this, every night before you sleep, relive the day as you wish it had gone. Not as it did go, as you wish it had gone. And you receive disappointing news today as an example, and revise it. In your imagination, rewrite that message. Read the version you want to receive and read it again. Feel what it would feel like to receive the news. And as an example as well, if someone spoke to you in a way that hurt you today, revise it in your imagination. Hear them say what you needed to hear instead. Feel that relief and feel that warmth. If a situation went wrong, then revise it. Run the version where it goes right, not in detail, in feeling, okay? And Neville says the one requisite is this. He says, the one requisite is to arouse your attention in a way and to such intensity that you become wholly absorbed in the revised action. There we go. Sorry about that. Wholly absorbed, guys. Not intellectually rehearsing it, not going through the motions, feeling it until it feels like it actually happened. Because here is what Neville understood that most people miss. The subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between a vividly imagined event and a real one. When you revise the day, and you do it with genuine feeling, your subconscious stores that revised version as the memory, not the original, the revised one. And then tomorrow, your subconscious begins to create from that revised memory instead of the original event. We're not changing history. You are changing the record your subconscious is working from. And the record is what creates your future. Now, let me tell you what I actually did. My brother was in a state that I had put him in. Not consciously, but for years, every time I thought about him, I saw him through the lens of everything that was wrong. I saw an alcoholic. I saw someone depressed. I saw someone who was hurting himself and everyone around him. And because everyone is you pushed out, because the dominant inner image you hold of a person is what they reflect back to you, I was sustaining that reality every single day, which hurt me a lot when I sat back and I really realized the gravity of the situation. So when I found out what had happened, that he had tried to take his own life, something shifted in me. And that's what I mentioned the pain for, because that's what shifted in me. That pain allowed me to realize the mistake I was making. I stopped seeing what was, and I made a decision to only see what I wanted for him. And every time his face came into my mind, I refused the old image. I replaced it with a specific one. I saw him sober. I saw him happy. I saw him sitting with his daughter, really sitting with her, present, not somewhere else in his head. I saw him with job offers, with a purpose, with a reason to get up in the morning. And I felt it, not hoped for it, felt it. And I felt the relief of it already being done. Day 5 or 6, he called me a dreamer when we were having a discussion about something in person. And he told me I was stupid for believing in things that could change, because I was trying to give him the law and kind of help him out. And I recognized right away kind of what that was. It was the 3D appearing to be pushing back. And if you know my story, you know on the first 3 days I discovered the law, I did everything perfect. And on the third day, I was in Sabbath. Truly had this knowing it was going to reflect. And then I got the worst case scenario news. And I reacted for about a few seconds, a certain amount of seconds. And then I brought myself back to the truth. And I said, nope, it's only day 3. I promised 30 days and we'll see what happens. And 3 hours later, I got my result of my very first manifestation. So I used that experience to see through that experience that I was going through right now in that moment with my brother. So I didn't react. I didn't defend myself. I kept the inner vision. By day 10, my father sent me a message, and my brother had not felt the urge to drink in days. That is what my father told me. He was optimistic that he had multiple job offers. He was spending time with his daughter, everything that I mentioned before. And that was all done in 10 days. That is what revision of the present looks like. Not revision of the past event, revision of a living, breathing, current situation. And by refusing to see it as it was and choosing to see it only as I wanted it to be, that's the key. And here is what I need you to understand. It did not change my brother. It changed my inner image of my brother. And the outer world rearranged itself to match the inner image. That is the law. And that is always the law. Neville said something that I want you to sit with. He said, all changes take place in consciousness, not some changes, all changes, which means when you revise your inner image of a person, you're not doing something to them. You are doing something to the version of them that exists inside your consciousness. But here's the thing. That is the only version of them you have ever interacted with. You do not experience people directly. You experience your perception of people, the inner image of them, your story about who they are. And Neville called this everyone is you pushed out, or for short form, EIYPO, for those of you that are more aware of the definitions. But it just means everyone is you pushed out. And the people in your world are a mirror. They're reflecting back to you the dominant inner images you hold of them. Not always, not perfectly, but consistently. So when you revise your inner image of someone, you are not lying to yourself about who they are. You are choosing which version of them to make real. Because remember, all versions are available for you to select from. Because creation is finished, and every version of every person already exists. The one who is struggling and the one who is thriving both exist. And I chose to focus on the one that was thriving. You're always choosing which version to call forward with your inner vision. The only question is whether you are choosing consciously or by default. Neville says, changing your life means changing the past. The cause of any present evil are the unrevised scenes of the past. So let me make this as simple as possible. Neville says, revise the day. Every night before sleep, run back through the day. Any moment that did not go the way you wanted, revise it. Feel the revised version until it feels real. Then fall asleep in that feeling. And Seth adds the why. He says, look back through your past with your new conception in mind. Look for the evidence that what you want is already true, not the evidence that reinforces the limitation. And in his own words, he says, when you are trying to alter your beliefs, look through your past with the new conceptions in mind. Search your life for proofs of what you want. This is the full practice. During the day, whenever you catch yourself seeing someone or something as you do not want it to be, revise the inner image. And this is what I call mid-air revision, because you're doing it right then and there on the spot. Right then, immediately, replace it with what you want. And at night, spend a few minutes before sleep running the revised version of anything that did not go right and feel it until it feels natural. And here's the part that most people overlook. Feeling is not optional. Neville says imaginal acts become facts as soon as we feel natural in the act. You're not trying to trick your subconscious with pictures. You're trying to generate the feeling of the thing already being done. The feeling is the signal. The feeling is what the subconscious responds to. Without feeling, you are just thinking. And with the feeling, you are creating. And the beautiful thing about revision is this: you do not have to wait for a new desire to appear. You can start right now with what already happened, with this morning, with yesterday, with whatever is weighing on you. The point of power is always now. I want to leave you with something. My mother was diagnosed with breast cancer, and I refused to see her as sick. Not because I was in denial, not because I was pretending it was not real, because I understood by then what I had held in my inner vision. That was the real thing. The diagnosis was the 3D catching up with an inner image that I had already helped create by seeing her in a certain way. And it could be changed by changing the inner image. For 3 to 4 weeks, every time I thought of her, I felt the relief of good news. I felt gratitude for her being healed. I saw her thriving. And eventually, she rang the bell at the hospital, the bell that everybody rings when you officially get your cancer-free diagnosis. I'm not telling you this to impress you. Sorry, I am telling you this because I want you to understand the scale of what revision actually is. This is not a journaling exercise. This is not positive thinking, which so many people mistake it for. This is a fundamental reorientation of your relationship with reality. Neville said it simply. It is the pruning to the pruning shears of revision that we owe our prime fruit. The pruning shears of revision. Not the inspiration of revision, not the hope of revision, the pruning shears. You cut away what does not belong. You cut away the unrevised day, the unrevised inner image, the unrevised story about who someone is or what a situation means. And what grows in its place is the life you actually want. So start tonight. Before you fall asleep, run the day back. Find one moment and just revise it. Feel the revised version until it feels real. One moment is enough. And remember, guys, gratitude implies having, and you get what you are, not what you want. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Happy hunting.